What you doing?
Welcome to the garage, folks.
Welcome back after a multiple week hiatus from the rear end.
So, we finally got the rest of the parts in to put the rear end back together. As you guys probably saw from the last video, there were some lateral links, or maybe you haven't seen it yet, I can't remember. The lateral links don't quite work. The old ones that I have don't quite work with the new rear end setup. They're too wide, and I would have to shave them down and make them narrower in order to get them to work. So I went ahead and ordered a new set of lateral links, and they're custom powder coated from TSS Fab. If you guys haven't heard of them and you guys have a Subaru, you should definitely go check them out. The guy there, William, and his whole crew, they make some amazing components for rally cars, race cars, whatever you can think of, like lifted STIs and Prezas, whatever. If you want to do a JZ swap or a LS swap into your Subaru, I mean, they make all sorts of different swap subframes to do whatever you want. I mean, if you want to run GD and Preza knuckles with 370Z brakes, you can do that.
What?
It's pretty cool. The TSS Fab makes a ton of really cool stuff. That's everything that I'm putting in the rear end. Eventually I'm going to end up getting the front subframe as well as their T-bar and transmission cross member. Probably wait until next Black Friday sale for that. For now, we're going to do an unboxing here of the new lateral links. Very, very excited about these.
Those are packaged extremely well.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a knife. I'm trying not to cut the hell out of these. I'm very, very excited about these. These are gonna fix so much geometry issues in the rear. They're super, super sturdy and strong. Look at those.
Oh my God.
Some beefy lateral links.
In Fast and the Furious 12, Dom's gonna use one of those to beat the shit out of somebody. Or, I don't know, strike down a spaceship. I'm not really sure.
Whew.
Man alive. That's dope too.
Yeah,
that's super dope.
There's spherical bearings in here, but they're covered with a rubber boot, so no dust gets in there, because they do make a lot of stuff for rally cars, and they're very, very well made. Super, super stout. There is a little bit of adjustability in these, but these are technically the non-adjustable ones. They make all sorts of stuff for lifted Subarus, and if you got a FRS or a BRZ, they make stuff for you guys too. It's super cool. Very cool company. Make very nice stuff.
It appears that way, because these look like something you would see in like suspension footage of WRC.
Yeah, pretty much.
You still got that blade out.
I know. I can't feel the blade when it cuts me, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Cue My Chemical Romance.
Those are super stout. Look at that. They're actually two different tie rods welded together, it looks like.
Oh my gosh. Oh, weird.
That's cool.
So, while he's going to be working on the subframe and getting all that stuff bolted back up, I'm going to be doing miscellaneous little tubes on the back of the engine here. So I will be removing this turbo to replace this little line right here, and obviously replacing this, and then some other stuff that Mark has ordered. So like whatever this is, what is this? PCV?
Yeah, it's a piece of VT.
With the correct white plug for this application. Yeah, and then so I'm just going to be piecing that back together, because there may or may not be a really, really, really dope turbo option on the rise. So, yeah, you guys will hear about that later if that does happen and he does procure. So, yes, I'm going to be doing that while he's throwing the rear subframe back in, and we're going to get this animal back on the road, because it has been too long and it deserves to be thrashed.
You getting her? Ow. alarm. I'm gonna make some fucking real loud racket here in a minute.
Tip.
I gotta whale
You got a whale to tail?
I gotta beat the shit out of the gas tank.
Oh, good.
Like a 2x4 or something.
You can use my ass.
What do you get when you cross an hour with a bungee cord?
My ass. Huzzah. Okay.
Gas tank's rubber coated.
Oh, good. Is that a Jimmy Folks?
Yeah.
Nice.
No time like sea time.
There you go. That's fucking awesome.
Especially when you're on the ground. Wailing on your car.
Yeah, I need to watch more Jimmy Folks.
The dude is unbelievably talented.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And incredibly humble.
Yeah, he definitely comes across as that, and like I believe it because I've heard Taylor Ray talk about him in a positive way, and Taylor Ray, when I talked to him, was like the nicest dude. Yeah, super cool, super cool.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for those guys.
Yeah. What's up, dude?
Okay, well, I'm trying to hold the diff with one hand while I put 4 bolts in it with the other.
Are you good?
And then hold it up with my gut while I grab the nuts off the floor.
While you grab your nuts off the floor?
Yeah. Rough.
Rough. Is there a way that I can assist?
Nope, I'm done now.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Well, what else do you want me to do on this engine? And after much wrestling from Mark.
And some wailing on the gas tank.
Yeah, some old whale.
Don't worry. You're supposed to.
Some wailing Jennings. It's in. The beautiful tubular piece of sex machine.
Artwork.
Let me just do this real quick.
So to give you guys kind of a rundown of what we did. It's kind of hard to film, obviously, because it's underneath the car, and we're laying on our backs, and we're trying to do all this. But so the subframe here bolts into the factory locations. You do have to dent the gas tank right in like the forwardmost part of this rear subframe, right in this area, and on the same area on the other side right here. And you have to do that so the subframe will actually bolt up flush, otherwise it shoves the subframe too far aft. So then what I did was I unbolted the differential completely, and I pulled the axles off of the, out of the diff. That way I could lift just the differential by itself. So then I bolted the diff into the T-bar up front, and then lifted up the rear end into the back, and there's these spherical bearings here, and these bolts go through the spherical bearings and bolt directly into the differential. So when you guys are doing this at home, you do need to pull 2 studs out of that differential in order to get those bolts in, but you definitely want those bolts with the spherical bearings more than you want the studs. So just something to be aware of. These are the parts that we were waiting for, the ones we just unboxed here, the lateral links. So there are 2 different sizes on the inserts on the lateral links. One goes to this big bolt on the bottom of your axle right here. So on the bottom of your hub, there's this one that goes straight through. This goes down. So your lateral link has the smaller hole goes up, the bigger hole goes down. That way you can thread this bolt all the way through the axle here, or the hub here. And then on top of that, we did trailing arms. So we've got these here. I might have put these in backwards, looking at them now. Wonderful. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
I think I did.
Well.
Because I did.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Well.
Oh well.
Just a little outboard. That's all.
Well, this one needs to go on the other side. That one needs to come over here.
Right. Either way.
Yeah. But it gives you kind of a gist of what's going on here.
when you're
the reason I
when
know
you're
it's
under
backwards,
the car upside down.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to swap that around. We'll show you once that's all swapped, but this part here needs to be up. That way it can slip onto the bottom of the knuckle here.
Right, so that bushing can just drop in, essentially.
Right. Yeah. So a couple other things that Casey and I did. We did replace these bushings on the bottom of the knuckle here. And then, so these are the trailing arm rear bushings. And then we also did the T-bar bushings up here, up forward, which you can't really see, but I just take our word for it. We did them. They mount.
I think we may have gotten a shot of that.
Yeah, it's the rear differential outrigger bushings, forward outrigger bushings. So those are also replaced. So that should lock this rear end in place really tight. There's a couple of other things we got to do. I'm not entirely sure how to mount the sway bar to this setup, because the standard trailing arms, like the factory trailing arms, or the, sorry, not trailing arms, but the lateral links have a mount for your wrist sway bar. So that's what that looks like. The factory ones will have the mount here. These are True Heart. I took these out because they're not great, but they're also not terrible. I don't know. I'm just, these are much
There's
nicer.
better ones, right? Right.
These ones are much nicer. So yeah, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna mount the sway bar because it's supposed to go like that. So we'll figure that out.
But the fact of the matter is, look at this beautiful tubular subframe.
It's 90% there.
90% there, and it's going to be tougher than anything you've dealt with before, so that you don't break it, so you can go racing and not completely jank the entire back end of your car as you did.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a little bit more investigation, but this is what we're talking about here, because it is a little confusing. That big hole there should go here, and then one of these will thread in and then connect to the, maybe not. Looking at that, it looks a little odd. Maybe it's the trailing arm.
We'll get it figured out.
We're gonna have to figure it out.
And we'll get back to you when we do. All right. Well, it has been a little while, a couple of days. I had to leave, and Mark kept wrenching, and he trucked away on the rest of this and got the rear end completely reassembled. It is done. It is ready for wheels and dropped on the ground. But we still have other stuff to do. But as far as the subframe actually goes, it is donezo.
Completely done.
Completely
Yeah.
donezo.
And I do want to point out, so the last clip you guys saw on this, there was some question as to how the sway bar end link connected to the hub or to the lateral links. So I did get clarification from TSS Fab, and we'll show you guys that here in a second.
So we got to get some light under there because the shooting under there is dork. A dork.
So what we have here is the fully installed TSS Fab subframe. It's oh so good.
It's delicious.
So the clarification that I got from TSS Fab, if you're doing this at home yourself, this is pertinent information to you. There is a left and a right on these brackets here. There's a long side, and the long side goes on top, and you just hammer them over the knuckle. That was the instruction from TSS Fab themselves. So you hammer them over the knuckle, you thread the end that has the non-castellated nut, thread that into the bracket, and then attach it to your end link or your sway bar just forward of the rear lateral link. That gives you a pretty good view there, at least it should.
So
This is what we're talking about here.
the top end of that link that has the threaded.
They're both threaded, top and bottom. This one here has a castellated nut. When you take it out of the box, it'll be wrapped and it'll have a castellated nut. This one will just have a nut to keep the washers from falling off. But when I'm talking about long and short sides of this bracket here, this here is the short side, and you can tell because this side of the bracket here it curves into it, if that makes any sense. So this is the short side, and it's actually longer on top. So you want the top, you just hammer it onto the knuckle so that this is sticking out.
That makes sense. Yeah.
One thing that's going to happen, it's going to take a little bit of finesse or a little bit of,
Like-
persuasion to get it on.
Right. So like finesse or like hammer finesse.
The subframe here. So even once you clearance the gas tank for this rear subframe, you're going to end up hitting these straps, and it's going to be a little bit rough to get them on, or get these bolts here started. But once you do, it'll pull itself into place, and there's enough flex in the straps to move out of the way. Yeah.
This looks outstanding.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see how it feels in the car.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely insane. I wonder how long that rear subframe. Well, do you think that rear subframe was only bent for like that after that one event, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be insane.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
The thing is rock solid. I was doing, pull-ups and stuff on it last time I was here.
So, and then
Got the brakes all reassembled. Clean the surface rust off of these with a wire wheel or something before we really get going.
throw the rust all into the pads. And then you got the trailing arm flipped around, yeah?
The trailing arm is flipped around. So if you guys can see this, I did use a factory bolt hole on this bracket for the ABS mount. So that is fully integrated into the actual trailing arm itself from TSS Fab. So that bolts in there, and then I just used a couple of zip ties for the forward section here. Bent this part up over the top just so it wouldn't rattle or anything. So that's really nice and secure there.
Now, every time you take a wheel off, you get to look at all your shiny new components that will only be shiny for probably 2 events.
I'm hoping that, I can get in there and pressure wash it every now and again. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But
By pressure washing, he means hitting that one standing water patch in the track as hard as he can, doing like 75. So, TSS Fab tubular rear subframe installed.
complete.
Dunzo.
If you guys have any questions about it, please comment down below, and I'll make sure that either me or Casey will get you the information for installation. It's fairly straightforward if you pull the subframe, but it is, there's a couple little things that you may need help with. So if you guys do need help, let me know, let him know. We'll get you sorted out.
Well, hopefully all that was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That was not as much of a pain in the neck as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, not at all. It was actually pretty straightforward.
I didn't do an insane amount of wrenching, but that seemed like way easier than
It was. Yeah, this is the weirdest part was that one little bracket for the sway bar end link, but once I talked to William at TSS Fab, it was super easy, and he just told me to hammer that on and sent me some pictures, and yeah, got some good clarification from that, so wasn't that bad.
All right, with all that being said, we appreciate you guys watching. There's a lot more wrenching to come on the RS, and of course,
Some idiot still has a gaping hole in the car. And, there's been 3 events already this year, so
right,
we're gonna remedy that soon.
right, and then we're gonna try and show up in the remaining events and spank everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll get, some fancier parts maybe down the road.
But we will cross that bridge when we actually come to it.
Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see that kind of stuff.
But in the meantime, you can still like and comment on this video, and we appreciate all of that, and we will catch you guys in the next one. See you guys around.
Thank you guys. Have a good day.
We gotta put this engine in. I'm gonna go get coffee first.
I think we can do it.
I would certainly help.